My people, we are back at it again. We're back at it again. Come hang out with me this evening. I was thinking about what I was going to talk about because, I started this channel to give as much value as I could in every area of your life who's ever watching this. And I really wanted to talk about tonight, how so many of us miss out on so many opportunities in our lives because um, we refuse to accept signs a lot of times that are coming from different places. We are so bombarded today in society with political party. We're bombarded with race. We're bombarded with all of these. I like to call artificial things that mean absolutely nothing to who we are. And it's always been my goal to bring as much value that I could to as many people as I can. I don't care, who you are, what background you're from. Bringing value to you is just, something that I think we're all called to do. But anyway, we miss so many different opportunities, and we disregard so many things around us, and as a result, our finances are not a lot of times where they need to be. Our friendships are not what they need to be. Our health is not where they need to be. So I think to put it into some context, I'll start off, and I always like to give a story to lead up to what I'm talking about. But they had a they had a pastor that was on a mission. He was a Baptist minister, and he was on a mission to turn all non-believers into believers. He was on a mission to turn all non-believers into believers, and he took a trip over to a village of atheists, and none of the people in this village believed in God. No one had no believers, and he was just um, he wanted to make sure, try his best to turn this entire village into believers. And so he went over and he preached the gospel over into this village, and lo and behold, a huge storm broke out. And I mean, it was a huge storm slash hurricane, and trees were falling everywhere, and they were near an ocean, and the home that he was in, where he was preaching to this congregation of atheists, this group of atheists, they ran all out and they got in boats, and it was a very, very bad storm. So the pastor minister, he climbed up into a tree, and all of these atheists were in boats, and they're drive coming by, going by the pastor, and telling him, please get into the boat. The water is you're gonna drown. The water was rising. And the pastor said, no, 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 the Lord is gonna save me. You people are atheists. He was shouting this. The Lord is gonna save me. So they, one boat, two or three atheists in the boat. The Lord is gonna save me. The Lord is gonna save me. So he one boat moves on, another boat comes up. Pastor, get into the boat. And the pastor once again said, no, 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 you people are atheists. The Lord is going to save me. The Lord is going to save me. I'm saved. So about 7 boats came by with all full of atheists. And the pastor didn't get in, and the water, it got higher and higher and higher and higher, and he couldn't swim, and he ended up drowning. So he went to heaven. And when he got there, God came out, And God, he saw God and he was crying to God. He said, God, he said, I can't understand why you will let this happen to me. He said, I preached your word for 25 years. I'm born again. I did everything. I followed everything that you said. I even went over and I was in the middle of trying to uh, save some atheists, people that did not believe in you. Why would you let this happen to me? And God looked at him and God said, I sent you 7 boats. And he said, the people that were on those boats were atheists. And God said, all children are my children. And despite them of whether or not they believe in me, I believe in them. And so I really want everybody to catch that tonight, because a lot of us, we miss so many opportunities to move forward because we're conditioned to only have those opportunities based on how we're raised in our families and how we come along. We're conditioned to have certain opportunities come to us only in the form that we think they should come in. And a lot of times those opportunities come to you in so many different forms, whether you're trying to improve your health, your finances, like I said earlier, or anything in your life. I was when I probably about 10 years ago. I'm sorry, it's probably longer than that. About 20 years ago, I started having these painful headaches, and they were like migraines. And started having them actually when I was a senior in college. And I would get these migraines, and they hurt. I mean, they were very it was very very painful. I would go into a dark room a lot of times and have to shut the lights off. Well, this went on for about a year, and of course, I went to the doctor, and he prescribed me some antibiotics, and I took the antibiotics, and of course, the headaches went away for about a month or two, but then they came back again, and I always had these migraines, didn't know where they were coming from. Well, I happened to be um, talking to a physician, a cardiologist. His office was in the same building as my parents' office at the time, and it was a doctor's clinic in there. And I happened to be on the elevator. I remember this like it was yesterday. I struck up a conversation with him and told him I had been having these headaches, and he said, "Try not eating animal products, meaning meat, and chicken, and fish, and uh, any meat product that has a parent. I don't care if it's seafood. Try not eating animal products or dairy for 90 days." And I asked him why. Now this was a boat at that time that I rejected at the time. But okay, I asked him why, and he said, in all my years of practicing medicine, um, the people that are the most ill in the most severe way. Number one, they're highly dehydrated. Number two, they have a diet full of animal products. And number three, they've got a diet full of dairy. And then I went on to ask him, I said, well, why should I take dairy and animal products out of my diet? He said, well, it builds inflammation in the body. And he said, dairy is nothing but animal secretions. I said, dairy is animal. He said, yeah, all dairy. I don't care if you're talking about meat, cheese, whatever your favorite dairy products are, all dairy is nothing but animal secretions, meaning animal waste, and meat and dairy products build inflammation into the body. So he said, if you take animal products and dairy out of your diet and replace them with plant-based foods, and he gave me an acronym: G bombs, greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, and seeds. Now you got to replace it. The foods that you're taking out with these foods. He said, try it for 90 days. He said, um, you won't, 9 times out of 10, you won't have any more headaches. And I did not accept that boat when he told me that. And I went on having headaches, eating the same way that I did for another probably year. We'll make another long story short. I happened to be in a place in Buckhead, Atlanta called Veggieland, and here comes another boat. I got in a conversation with somebody, and who worked there, and I was telling the same person. This was years later about the headaches that I was having, and once again, this person this time said, "Try taking meat out of your diet." Now, this is my second vote. This time I listened, okay? And I ended up for 90 days taking animal products. I didn't eat any chicken. I didn't eat any fish. I didn't eat any seafood. I took dairy out. I didn't eat any milk, cheese, ice cream, anything with dairy, and I didn't eat. And I replaced it with vegetables and fruits. Now, you got to get the nutrients from someplace else when you're not getting them from dairy and meat. And lo and behold, because I accepted this vote, okay, lo and behold, I remember going on probably about 30 or 60 days, and it was so subtle. This was the thing. It was so subtle that I looked up and I said, damn, I haven't had a headache in 2 months. Haven't had to take I didn't have to take an aspirin, didn't have to take an antibiotic, didn't have to do any of that. In the first time I rejected the boat like the pastor did when he said that when he couldn't understand that God sent them 7 boats. Okay. And by me not rejecting the boat the second time, my headaches went away. Okay. Now, how does that apply to you? There have been many times, I guarantee you, in your life, like me, where things come to you in the form that you don't want it to possibly come to you because you're not conditioned to accept that, because you're not used to having something like that come to you in that form that's coming to you to improve your life. And it's up to you to be open enough to understand that this could be a higher power talking to you through someone else. It could be coming to you possibly through a homeless person that's trying to give you a sign or something. My wife told me that we have a tendency, and we've had a tendency for the past, I don't know, 10 plus years, to buy a bottle of wine every day. And when we cook, we have a bottle of wine every day with our dinner. I mean, we might have 2 glasses apiece every day. Red wine. I mean, red wine, red wine, red wine. But anyway, when her mother was living, her mother used to tell her that she didn't like her drinking that much. And after her mother made her transition, she said she had a dream. And her mother came to her and she said, in the dream, all that drinking that you do, that's a boat. That is a sign. That is something coming to her, telling her, hey, maybe you need to cut back on drinking, not entirely, but drinking so much. And it really, really changes um, not only your perception of a lot of things, but it literally has the opportunity, whomever is watching this, to change your life if you start paying attention to different signs that are going on around you. You may be out and about one day, and a homeless person may come up to you and give you some information, You don't know if a higher power is working through that homeless person to give you some information regarding making improvements in your life, but you've got to be open-minded enough and humble enough to listen. One of the greatest traits that a great salesman can have is to listen. We've got two ears and one mouth, and you never know what form your blessing, your improvements are coming from, unless you're open to hearing what a person has to say. I mean, that's very, very important. Um, so that's pretty much the basic message that I want to give you guys, is understanding that boats come in different forms, in different ways, and you've got to be willing to be open enough and humble enough to accept what is coming into your life, because a lot of times improvements are not made by me and by you because you refuse to listen and to accept great things that possibly could be coming into your life in different forms, because you're not used to the forms that they're coming in, because we're all, we all are brought up in families, and our families are teaching us certain values and things to do because they're trying to protect us. They want the best for us. But a lot of times it's not the best for us, it's the best for them. They've done the best they could, but we've just got to be open. Sometimes you got to say to hell with politics. You got to say to hell to the Democrat Party, to hell to the Republican Party, and different political affiliations, so that you can hear um, what is coming to you. And a lot of times, people are bringing you things who are Democrat. They're bringing you things that are Republican. They're bringing you things and they're homeless. They're bringing you things and they're not at a level or in a form that you feel comfortable with, and as a result, you reject it, and I reject it, and we reject it. So that's really what I wanted to share with everybody tonight. Um, you know, be open to greatness coming into your life, and don't shut it out because it's not coming to you in the form that you wanted to come. So, with that said, people, um, I will be back as always with another banger to bring some more value to you. And with that said, y'all take care. Bye. I love y'all.